Plaintiff Cherie Washington says the defendant was engaged to her cousin, which is why she had no problem loaning money to them for their Las Vegas wedding. However, the two of them are no longer engaged, and now the defendant refuses to repay her for the loan. Defendant Crystal Martin insists the agreement was between Cherie and her ex-fiancé, and she had nothing to do with it. Crystal believes she's only being sued because her ex and Cherie had a falling out after he began making money for her by selling drugs. And Crystal's countersuing because she claims Cherie harassed and assaulted her at her job.
Start with you.
I know the defendant because she was my cousin's high school sweetheart. In New Year's of 2008, they got engaged. She said she started rushing into planning for her wedding because she had 10 months. By the time March came around, they had the engagement party. Me and my husband was actually surprised that they had set up a speech for us for being their mentors by the mom. It was very nice.
At the engagement party?
At the engagement party. After that, we started bonding because of that. We got real close, started barbecuing, cooking, just doing all type of stuff together. By the time July came around, he wrecked 2 cars, and that's when the communication began to get shut down.
In...
her ex-fiancé. He wrecked 2 cars. By the time this happens, the communication was really shut down.
Let me hear from you before we get to things that occurred regarding the agreement.
Okay, first of all, Your Honor, I feel that the only reason why the plaintiff is suing me today is because she's had a falling out with my ex-fiancé and his immediate family. We were engaged. We were together since high school, about 2000. We got engaged New Year's. The wedding was to be held October 12th of 2008 in Las Vegas, Nevada. And he let me know, okay, well, you don't worry about the deposit.
Your fiance?
Yes, my ex-fiancé told me, you don't worry about the deposit. I'll handle that. You just, try to get together how we're going to pay for the full amount of the wedding.
That's not
so
true.
what I did was I contacted my father, and I basically obtained a $15,000 loan to pay for the bulk of the wedding. And he contacted Miss Washington, and he informed me that she agreed to pay the deposit and he would pay her back. That arrangement was between him and her.
Okay, let me hear from you.
That is not true.
All right, you tell me what the agreement was regarding the wedding. Okay,
in February is when I was contacted. They called me from Vegas and asked me if I would put the deposit down.
Of how
They
much?
put $3,000 to save the date, which was October the 12th. I agreed 3 things. I said, if I do this for you guys, I want it paid off by the time of the wedding. They said yes. Then on top of that, I said, I do not want any late fees, so you must pay it on time. They said yes. Then I said, if you're going to pay something, I want it to be paid, like if the bill is 20, you need to pay 40, because I don't want my interest to be high. They agreed. Then the loan came around. It was, we can't give you the $300 each month, but when we get our loan, then we'll pay off the whole amount. I was like, all right, as long as I get it by October. You haven't gotten anything yet? No.
Oh. Ma'am, you're saying that the agreement she's making reference to, you had nothing to do with?
No, Your Honor, I don't even know what she's talking about.
You've never heard her speak of this
No, as far as all of these 3 conditions that she's coming up with, I never had that conversation with her. She keeps saying they agreed this, they agreed that. My ex-fiancé can attest to that. I didn't even have.
Come on up, sir.
I didn't have the agreement with that.
State your name.
Kenneth Davis. Your Honor.
All right, you want to tell me about any agreement that may have existed?
For the beginning, what we decided was, I told her to call her people. I'll call my people and try to get there some money. So we did. I called Cherie. Cherie just said she'll give me $3,000 for the loan. She gave $3,000 for the loan. She's saying we never gave her any money when I was paying her monthly. She doesn't play with money. Well, first of all,
that's right.
I can't go 5 months without giving her any money or she would flip out.
Let's start with the agreement.
Okay, the agreement was I'll pay her in payments, pay the payments every month.
$3,000?
Yeah, pay payments for the $3,000, yes, sir.
Yeah, for how much per month?
$300 a month.
And how many months did you pay?
We paid about 4 or 5 months before we gave them.
That is a lie.
We paid 4 or 5 months.
I did. Before I gave her $1,500.
Oh my, that is not true.
Okay, and you say that she had no such discussion or agreement with her to pay any share of the monies you borrowed.
Yes, sir. And what Cherie's upset about is me and Cherie fell out because I was involved in a lot of other activities because I was selling drugs and doing other things, right? So, like she said, we were real close. I would go to Cherie's house every morning and talk to her. Okay, the time came where Cherie had to get a job because she wasn't being able to pay her mortgage. So I was making her get a security job. So I'm sitting down listening to her telling me all her problems and stuff. So I say, well, you know, because I'm doing this. So once you bring $1,000 to the table, and I'll turn it to 2 every month. Okay, that's what I started doing for her. Now in question, when those cars came up crashed, it's because I was ripping and running all the time, staying going with a job and doing what I do in the daytime.
You said she's upset.
She's upset because I owed her $1,000 on the last transaction that we did together because I got in those car accidents.
All right. And so you agreed to pay on the contract for the wedding $3,000. How much have you paid thus far?
She received 15 from me.
How much
cash.
have you paid thus
15
far?
in cash, and I gave her
Okay.
like 4 payments of $300.
And that's a total of $2,700.
Okay.
Stand up. State your name.
My name is Algernon Washington.
What do you want to tell me?
We would never enter into an agreement with someone who can't pay it back, who has no means to pay it back. She had the job working for the government, same as me. Like she said, she does not play
Did you
with
ever
the money.
speak with her?
Yes, but after that,
I need to know what happened before the loan.
Kenneth called her, contacted her about the loan. She asked me, should we loan her the money? I said no. Or should we loan him the money? I said no. Based on what they needed, I said we can go ahead and loan her the money if she agrees to pay it back because he has no means to pay it. It would just be dumb.
What was discussed with her regarding the loan?
Basically, if we're going to hang ourselves out for $3,000, you agree to pay us back $300 a month until it's paid, and it all has to be paid by October.
Okay. Obviously, you all didn't write anything down?
No, just the contract from the actual hall where they made the deposit.
And who made the deposit on the hall?
She did.
I did. I got a phone call.
And who contracted with the hall?
Both of us.
Who intended to pay for the deposit?
He did.
All right, so why did you sign the contract also, as you
Because
said?
no, for the venue, we both have to sign the contract for it to go into
who agreed
the
to
agreement. To pay the entire venue? Both of us.
Right.
Yes.
So the two of you all agreed to pay one creditor, but only one agreed to pay the other. Any reason why? Just curious.
Because that's not the way it worked for the venue. The venue would not allow that.
He says he wouldn't allow it either.
Okay, but
he says because he wasn't working, he wouldn't do it either.
Sir.
And I'm sure he wouldn't if this man in his drug dealing couldn't even come up with the money
They paid their rent for
himself.
5 months, Your Honor.
What do you want to say?
Can I clear up some of the stuff
Yes.
you said? He misunderstood. Like you said, the agreement was made in February. I have a contract here that Crystal Martin, on the 25th, I was called. From there, I put the deposit. If you see at the bottom, it was signed on March the 2nd. They went back after I put the deposit down.
By both parties.
She found the venue on her own first. After they got into these jams and he's trying to make this wedding happen, I started to loan him cash. He has paid me back for the cash. He's right. But he has not paid anything
Was
on
I
the
helping you
card.
for your mortgage, Sheree?
No.
Didn't Al tell you to get a
No.
Was
job?
this?
No.
Was this paid to Sunset Gardens?
Yes,
the
it was.
$3,000. You paid it?
No, she paid it.
Okay. Do you think she should be repaid?
Sir,
Your
she's
Honor.
saying she
Do
getting
you
money.
think she should be repaid?
Your Honor, I have evidence that
That's
I
a
took
very
out the
easy question. Do you
$1,600.
think she should be
yes,
repaid?
and she has been repaid. That's what I have the evidence of the $1,600
She's been
that I
repaid
pulled
by
out.
whom?
By him. I gave him.
You have
he
the
asked
evidence
me-
that you repaid the $3,000.
That's the money she had in her hand.
Sir, what's that?
The money, I gave her money in her hand.
But you said you gave her some in cash.
Yes.
And the other how?
And a big lump sum cash, $1,500.
Sir, there's no way we're going to stand here and admit that he paid us back for the cash that she loaned him and then, tell you that he didn't pay that back. He's a little bit confused, and the reason why he wrecked those 2 cars within 2 weeks is because he's a pill-popping animal. We'll keep it straight.
Yeah, right.
We'll keep it straight.
Your Honor,
All right, your counterclaim for $5,000 is for what?
for the harassment, she's come up to, a few days before she actually came up to my job, she showed up at the apartment, banging on the door. It was like 6-something in the morning. I was getting ready to go to work. I let him know, I was like, your cousin is here, I'm getting ready to go to work. So she's yelling and screaming. She goes to her car, gets a bat, says she's gonna tear up everything in the house. About exactly 3 days after that, because I believe that was a Monday morning, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, she showed up at my job, jumps out of her truck, comes up to my face, yelling, screaming at me. And first thing she asked me was, where is Kenneth? Where is Kenneth? I can't get a hold of Kenneth. I said, well, I'm at work, so I don't know what to tell you. So I turned to walk away, and she shoves me in my back to the point where I almost fell to the ground. There was a person outside that witnessed it at my job. They called the police. There was a police report filed.
You have that today?
Yes, I do.
Ma'am,
there was also an incident report that I had to complete with my job, which was embarrassing, to say the least.
Tell me about this counterclaim, ma'am.
Let me tell you what happened. This was November the 5th. I went over because I assumed that the defendant was at work because it was 7 o'clock in the morning. I was dropping my husband off at his carpool, which is across the street.
You went over where?
To my cousin's house. I'm standing out there. I'm just knocking on the door like, okay. And the defendant is running around looking through peepholes in the windows and stuff. And at the time, my cousin, another one of my cousins, were their roommate. So I knock on his window, and he gets up, he opens the door, and I'm like yelling at him. I'm like, why you didn't open the door? What's the problem? What's taking you so long? Why you gotta be standing outside?
He was baseball bat.
All right. Why were you so angry that they wouldn't come to the door?
Because they had me outside for like a long time.
Yeah, why don't you just walk away? Instead of knocking on their windows. You come to see somebody at 7 a.m. and because they don't come to the door in the time in which you want them to, you go to knocking on the window, and then when they finally come, you start fussing at them. Why didn't you come? It's 7 a.m. in the morning. You know you should have come to this door when I wanted you to.
That's not what happened, sir. He was yelling at me.
Let's get to the so-called
the job. That was the next day. The next day I went over to her job.
Just to visit with her?
Just to ask her why she didn't answer the door. What was the problem? Like, why wouldn't you answer?
The day before.
She was up.
Boy, you really hung up on that. Why they don't come to the door? The next day, you were still so bothered by them not coming to the door. Let's be quiet, sir. Have a seat.
It was more. It wasn't.
You were so upset that they didn't come to the door in a timely manner the day before that you're gonna go to her job the next day to find out why she didn't come to the door that morning early.
I really went to find out the Jag because she had bought a Jag.
That's not what you just said. You just told me you went to her job to find out why she didn't come to the door.
Right.
Then you changed your story and you said, no, I went over to talk about the car accidents and the other things. Now, let's try it one more time.
Okay.
Why did you go to her job?
I went to talk to her because she was up in the morning and I was wondering why she didn't answer the door. Okay. She was the person that was up looking through the peephole.
And what happened then?
Like she said, we were talking, she was on the phone, she began to walk away, I did push her, and that was it. That's how it ended.
Why did you push her?
Like you said, she walked away, we were talking, and she's all in my face telling me it's not her problem, you know.
What's not her problem?
You bought a Jag.
What's not her problem?
She didn't answer the door. It wasn't her problem, like you said. It wasn't the Jag. It's not her problem. The money, all that's not her problem.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've heard, what you just told me. And I hear a lot of ridiculous stuff. You went to this woman's job to harass her.
I didn't.
You harassed them at their house when you got mad because they wouldn't come to the door at 7 a.m. You admit to assaulting her. Judgment for the defendant, your counterclaim, $2,500 for the harassment you endured. I believe nothing you say because you sound ridiculous. Have a good day. Judgment for the counterclaim.
Talk about
He didn't make money from me for selling drugs. He just borrowed money. He didn't make any money from me.
We made money. They lied about not getting no money at all. That's what the judge saw. That's why they lost. They lied about everything. They received money from us. From me, a couple times. I can't believe you did that.
I didn't say you. I said you gave me money for the cash you borrowed.
Which doesn't make sense because if someone already owed you $3,000, why would you further loan them
I can't believe you got a $15,000
we didn't get you
loan.
we didn't make no payments. We didn't make no payments towards that loan. We made no payments.
back your cash.
We didn't make no payments towards that loan.
What does my loan have to do with you? What does my Jaguar have to do with you? Was I supposed to what?
Because you didn't pay us.
Continue paying you $40 to drive me to work?
But you can go buy a Jag.
15 miles.
It's ridiculous.